The paradox of the avoidant heart. Have you ever loved someone who always felt just out of reach? Someone who pulled you close, only to push you away the moment you opened your heart? It wasn't an accident. It was a pattern, and it started long before you met them. Avoidant individuals don't wake up one morning and decide to choose the wrong partner. But strangely, again and again, that's exactly what they do. And if you've been on the receiving end of this emotional dance, you probably felt like you're not enough, you're too much. You're always waiting for something they never fully give. But let's go deeper. This isn't about you being wrong. It's about why they're choosing you, even though they fear you. The avoidant setup. Avoidant attachment doesn't begin in adulthood. It begins in childhood. Most avoidants grow up in an emotional environment where vulnerability was dangerous. Asking for love meant being shamed. Closeness felt like a trap. So what happens? They learn to survive by disconnecting from their own needs. They suppress emotions. They stop depending on others. And most importantly, they become skilled at hiding their true self, even from themselves. Now here's the catch. When they finally step into adult relationships, their inner wiring is already programmed. Love, your danger. Closeness. Risk being truly seen equals exposure. So when they meet someone who is emotionally available, someone who sees them, hears them, wants all of them, their subconscious goes into panic mode. It whispers, "This person can hurt you. Don't let them in. Find someone safer, colder, more distant, someone you won't fall for too deeply." And so begins the tragic irony. They pick the wrong person. On purpose. The wrong partner. Emotionally unavailable, chaotic, needy in ways that don't demand vulnerability, becomes the safe choice. It's not conscious. It's protective. Because if they fall for someone who actually sees them, who genuinely connects with their core, that would mean facing the very thing they've been running from all their lives, emotional vulnerability. The illusion of control. Avoidants don't want to be controlled by their feelings, so they choose partners who distract them, validate their emotional detachment, confirm their belief that real intimacy isn't possible. They think they're in control of the game, but in truth, they're running from themselves, and they don't even realize that by always choosing the wrong partner, they're also choosing to stay emotionally imprisoned. This is not love. This is fear wearing love's costume. The emotional algorithm behind avoidant decisions. If love is a language, avoidants were taught the opposite dialect, one where silence speaks louder than connection. But what if I told you? They follow an exact emotional algorithm. Not random, not accidental, but hard-coded deep inside them. Avoidants don't choose the wrong partner by mistake. They choose by emotional programming. It's not about love, it's about safety, not joy, but control. They follow what we can only call the avoidant algorithm, a step-by-step breakdown. 1. Step 1, the subconscious scan. When an avoidant meets someone new, their mind doesn't ask, "Do I feel loved by this person?" It asks, "Can this person become a threat to my emotional independence?" They scan for intensity, emotional expression, and presence. And paradoxically, the kinder and emotionally healthier you are, the more dangerous you appear to their nervous system. Why? Because deep inside, connection feels like a trap. Step 2. The attachment alert. If a person is open, honest, and emotionally present, avoidants often feel uneasy, suffocated, exposed, without knowing why. the moment real intimacy is felt. They activate the inner defense system, pull back, distract, sabotage, or flee completely. It's not cruelty, it's automatic emotional defense. Think of it like a firewall, not against viruses, but against vulnerability. Step 3. The compatibility filter. Avoidants feel more safe with partners who don't ask deep questions, struggle with their own emotional regulation, are inconsistent or unpredictable, because such partners don't demand deep intimacy. They offer drama instead of depth. This drama keeps things intense, but never truly close. It becomes the perfect hiding place. Fourth step. 4. The false logic. Avoidants often convince themselves of reasons why their emotionally healthy partner is not right. They're too needy. I need more space. It's just not the right time. But underneath all these logical excuses is one hidden truth. This person makes me feel seen, and I'm terrified of being seen. So they walk away and tell themselves it's for the best. The result? They repeat the cycle again and again and again. Choosing the wrong partner isn't a mistake. It's a defense mechanism wrapped in logic. They tell themselves, this person is too intense. I need someone more chill. Maybe I'm just not ready for love. But they're not avoiding love. They're avoiding being emotionally known. Because the moment they are truly known, they risk the thing that terrifies them most: abandonment, rejection, and the return of childhood wounds. Avoidants don't pick the wrong partner by accident. They pick them on purpose, to protect a wound that has never healed. How avoidants sabotage relationships before they can even begin. You thought everything was going great. You laughed together, shared secrets, made plans. Then they vanished, or worse, they changed overnight. This isn't new. It's a pattern, one that avoidants follow without even realizing it. It's not that they don't feel something. It's that they feel too much, too fast, and too deeply, and it terrifies them. Avoidants sabotage intimacy early. They do it before connection grows deep, because the moment real closeness forms, their internal alarm starts screaming. Let's unpack exactly how they do this. 1. Devaluation. After intimacy, avoidants often idealize you in the early stages. You're perfect, fascinating, safe. But the moment you start getting close, really close, something shifts. They begin to devalue you. Suddenly, you're too much. You ask too many questions. You're not giving them space. They pick apart your words, your tone, your habits. Why? Because if they can convince themselves that you're the problem, they don't have to face the fear inside themselves. 2. Creating conflict where there is none. Avoidants are subconsciously searching for distance. If they can't find a reason to pull away, they'll create one. Misunderstand a joke. Overreact to a casual question. Accuse you of trying to control them. This is known as protest behavior, a push for space even when everything is fine. The avoidant subconscious wants one thing: back off before I get hurt. So they light small emotional fires, then blame the heat on you. ICE 3. Withholding and silence. Another classic sabotage move? They go quiet, not just verbally, emotionally. They stop, sharing their thoughts, replying in the same tone, planning the future, showing affection. It's like a switch flips. This isn't indifference, it's protection. If I don't show you all of me, you can't reject the real me. So they lock the emotional doors and throw away the key. 4. Mirroring, then distancing. Early on, avoidants often mirror their partner's values and emotions. They become who you want them to be, almost like a chameleon. But when things begin to feel real, their sense of identity feels threatened. They start distancing. Emotionally, physically, energetically. They go from hot to cold, fast. You're left wondering, was it ever real? The truth? Yes, it was. But they couldn't handle it. Why this happens? So early. Avoidants don't sabotage because they don't like you. They sabotage because your love is a mirror. And that mirror reflects their fear of abandonment, their suppressed shame, their unmet childhood needs. Intimacy doesn't just invite love, it also awakens trauma. So they sabotage not because they want to lose you, but because keeping you means losing the version of themselves they've carefully protected. Avoidants don't wait until the relationship gets hard. They sabotage it when it gets real, because to them, real equals risk. The deep root. Why avoidants fear? Being loved, not just loving. Everyone wants to be loved. Or do they? What if being loved feels more threatening than being rejected? What if the very thing you crave also feels like the one thing that could destroy you? It's easy to assume avoidants are afraid to love, but here's the twist. They're not just afraid to love, they're afraid of being loved. That might sound confusing, but it makes sense. Once you understand the emotional blueprint buried beneath their defenses. Let's break it down. Emotional exposure equals emotional danger. To most people, being loved means being seen, being understood, being accepted. But to avoidants, being loved equals being vulnerable. And vulnerability, that's dangerous, because somewhere in their childhood, love wasn't safe. It was conditional. It was inconsistent. It came with punishment, shame, or abandonment. So they learned a brutal emotional lesson. If someone loves me, they will also hurt me. Eventually. Where it begins. The child who was too much. Many avoidants were once emotionally sensitive children, but their caregivers didn't know how to hold that sensitivity. So what happened? They were told to toughen up, punished for crying, ignored when they needed connection, rewarded only when they suppressed emotion, and so they learned to perform strength and hide weakness. They buried their emotional self so deeply they began to believe, if I ever let someone love the real me, they'll run. Love. Loss of control. Being loved requires one terrifying act, letting go. It means you don't control how someone sees you. You don't control whether they'll stay. You don't control how deeply you might fall. To avoidants, this isn't romantic. It's dangerous. So instead, they create distance. Not because they don't care, but because they care too much and don't trust that love will last. The repeating cycle. 1. They meet someone who genuinely loves them. 2. They feel exposed, seen, known, emotionally touched. 3. Old emotional alarms go off. 4. They sabotage. 5. They leave, then regret it. 6. They chase someone emotionally unavailable because it feels safer. This cycle repeats endlessly. And deep down, they start to believe, real love isn't for me, but it is. They just don't know how to receive it. The core belief avoidants often carry an unconscious belief. If someone really gets close to me, they'll see how broken I am and they'll leave. So they never let people get close enough to see. And in doing so, they guarantee the very abandonment they fear. Avoidants don't fear your love. They fear what it might reveal about their own self-worth, how healing begins, and what you must know before loving an avoidant. Avoidants don't want to hurt you. They don't even want to run. But when you try to get close, something ancient inside them whispers, you are not safe here, and so they push you away, even when all they want is to be held. We've seen how avoidants fear vulnerability. We've seen how they sabotage love. We've seen why they keep choosing the wrong partner again and again. But now, let's talk about healing. Because while their behavior seems cruel or cold, the truth is, most avoidants are just people terrified of intimacy, but desperate for connection. So how does healing begin? And more importantly, how can you love someone with an avoidant attachment style without losing yourself in the process? Let's break it down.